crying? Why do you look so sad?
Oh, I had a really rough day today.
What happened?
You know, sometimes when things don't go like you planned, I feel like giving up.
Yes.
And that's the kind of day I had. There were things that just went wrong, and sometimes it just feels like things are so hard and I feel like giving up.
Oh man, they feel like they're falling apart, hey?
That's right.
But it's important that we build without giving up. We keep going even though things are really, really hard.
I suppose you're right, because when we're doing something that's important, we've got to keep going until we finished.
Yeah.
Even when we feel like giving up.
That's right.
There's a special word for that. It's called perseverance,
Oh,
right?
Yes,
We've got
that's
to
true.
keep going. We've got to build without
Giving up.
giving up. That's right. Even when it gets hard,
Yeah.
even when sometimes you get tired or sad,
Yeah.
we need to keep going, right?
Yes.
You know, one of the things that I found quite tricky was when we played that Jenga game.
Oh.
Because things keep falling and then I just want to give up.
Should we try it again? Maybe this time?
Okay, let's give it a go.
Okay.
Well, I'll do one layer and you do the next layer, and let's see if we can get it to balance. These are quite tricky to balance, right?
They're very tricky. Extremely tricky.
Oh, sorry, that's a bit skewed. There we go. There we go.
Oh. Don't give up, Pastor D. Don't give up.
Okay,
Give
I
up.
will persevere. I will build without giving up.
Ah.
Alicia, now you've got to keep going.
Okay, fine. Keep going. Have another one there.
We do.
Oh, okay. This is why we need two people. We need each other so
That's
that we
right.
don't give up.
So we can encourage each other
Yes.
to build without giving up, right?
Yes, that's right.
There we go.
Yes.
Now we're ready to play Jenga again.
That's true.
And you guys need to remember that too. Even when you sometimes feel like giving up,
Yeah.
remember,
Build without giving up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's go and learn some more about that.
Yeah.
Faithful through the ages, God of Abraham, you're the God of covenant and faithful promises. Time and time again, you have proven you'll do just what you said. Though the storms may come and the winds may blow, I'll remain steadfast and let my heart learn when you speak a word, it will come to pass. Great is your faithfulness to me. Great is your faithfulness to me. From the rising sun to the setting same, I will praise your name. Great is your faithfulness to me. Oh, seasons change, you remain the same. God from age to
goodness, Tracy, look at what happened.
No, all of our hard work.
I know, we had like pretty much finished this wall.
Who could have done that?
I don't know.
Rude.
And they just left the bricks on the floor.
Oh,
They just took all our words apart. And I even brought my measuring tape to make sure that we, just for fun.
you know what? It's okay
Yeah.
because we remember it. Maybe you
Yes.
can help us. Well, we think we remember it. Maybe you can help us get it right.
Yeah, do you guys remember it? Well, we know, we can remember it's from 1 Peter 2 verse 5. Do you guys remember how it starts? Let's see, we've got you also, and then living, blank, as you come to blank, you blank blank built into a house for worship. 1 Peter 2 verse 5. All right, so let's see.
Okay.
You also are like, so I've got like,
Got R. Okay, I'll go that way.
I'll go this way.
Right.
Okay. You also are like living.
Living what?
We are building with bricks, which we now are calling stones. I got stones.
What?
You also are like living stones as you come to.
Who do we come to? Can you remember?
Who do we pray to? Christ. Okay, so I've got Christ over here.
Okay. So,
Is-
our next sentence says, as you come to Christ, you
built into a house for worship. 1 Peter 2 verse 5. And what are we doing? We are being, you are. There we go, because we've got R and being
and
left.
being. Great. Hey, look at that. I think we've done it.
We've got to move them up a little bit. Bricks can be a bit tricky. All right.
That wasn't so difficult, Natasha.
Were you guys able to help us figure it out? If you did, well done. Okay, so let's just go over the verse again. We've got, you also are like living stones as you come to Christ. You are being built into a house for worship. 1 Peter.
2 verse 5.
That's awesome. Hope you guys got that. Should we just quickly pick up the rest of these bricks and build like Nehemiah did?
Yes.
All right, let's keep building.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Kids Church. It's still me, Yeshua, aka Spurgimoto. So the series is called Build Like Nehemiah, and I'm going to quickly recap how far we are. So first things first, our boy Nehemiah was a Jewish guy all the way from the city of Jerusalem. Yes, you guessed it. But he lived in Babylon and worked as I'll give you a clue. No, not a wine taster, as a cupbearer for the king, who happened to be King Artaxerxes. Okay. And so what happened was, this is all the way in week 1. Nehemiah found out that the walls in Jerusalem and the gates had been utterly destroyed. And that made him sad, as it should, right? If somebody breaks something that belongs to you. Do you have siblings that are younger than you, maybe? Friends that are younger than you? Or cousins or whatever that have broken stuff that belongs to you? I'll tell you as a story real quick. When I was in high school, a friend of mine borrowed me a book about a cricket player. I was so excited to read it, and I left it in my room. And at the time, my younger sister was like 2 years old or something, and she made it into my room. And she had a crayon. I'm sure you can see where the story is going. Let's just say she decided to be a co-writer in that book. She messed that whole book up. It was so embarrassing. I had to go tell my friend and give him the book. And he kept saying, it's okay, it's okay. And I was so embarrassed. Anyway, that's what happened. Like, he found out that the stuff was destroyed. The walls and the gates were destroyed. And it made him sad, as it would anyone, right? And what did he do in week 1? He decided to pray about it. Before he did anything, before he even went on a mission to rebuild the walls, he decided to pray. So he prayed about it. And then we also learned in week 2 that once he decided to do something about it, he didn't do it alone. He took some friends with him. Now, let's jump into week 3. Now, what happened was Nehemiah finally decided to get the building project off the ground. He goes back to Jerusalem, and yeah, they start building, right? Things are going well. The walls are starting to take shape. Looks good. Looks like a wall, right? It's like a strong wall that's standing. But what happens is he starts facing some oppositions. There's always a hater or two around somewhere. There were a couple of guys and other nations, the Bible says, that looked at them and actually started working against them, right? He started having enemies and people trying to derail him or distract him, etc. In fact, this is what it says in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 6, verses 2 to 4. It says, so Sanballat and Geshem, these are the bad guys in the story, they sent a message asking to they actually want to meet with Nehemiah and his crew. So they wanted to meet them at one of the villages in the plain of Ono. Really cool place. Well, the name is cool. But then Nehemiah says, I realized that they were plotting to harm me. So I replied by sending this message to them. He said this, I am engaged in a great work, so I can't come now. He says, I'm engaged in a great work. I can't come now. That's like voicemail, son. Like, leave me alone. He said, I'm engaged in a great work. I've got some important stuff to do, guys, so I can't come down from like what I'm busy with right now. Y'all can just go and chill. And the Bible says that they actually did this about 5 more times, right? Because when you have enemies, they'll do everything in their power to try and distract you. Now, I said this in week 1 and week 2. I want to remind you again that we have been called to build like Nehemiah. Now, we may not build actual like physical walls, but we've been called to build the church. I remind you again, how do we build the church? Well, we build the church whenever we help other people grow in their faith with God. We share testimonies. We share just stuff that God has done and is doing in our lives. And when we share with people that don't know Jesus and we invite them to church, we tell them about Jesus, we tell them about stuff that God has done in our lives, right? But isn't it true that just like Nehemiah, whenever we want to share and build the church and help other people know God, that we face challenges? Sometimes you face challenges, you have enemies, like people that don't want you to do that, and so they maybe make fun of you. Maybe you're at school and you tell people about Jesus and people call you like a nerd or a dork or whatever other terrible names they use, and so you feel really bad. But I want to encourage you guys, this is what's very cool about Nehemiah, is even though he had enemies that were trying to derail his plans, he kept on building and he refused to give up. And you and I can do the same. We can build without giving up, right? Keep inviting those friends. Keep telling people about Jesus, even if people criticize you for it. Continue to build without giving up. Now I'm going to read from the book of Galatians chapter 6 verses 9 to 10. This comes from the New Testament, and it is the Apostle Paul speaking. He says this, let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing, meaning we will be blessed if we don't give up. Verse 10 says, therefore, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially those in the family of faith, meaning other people that go to church with us, other Christians, other believers. So I want to encourage you guys with that. Don't give up doing good. Don't give up laying those bricks of encouragement, right? Of helping other people know God, telling them about Jesus, being an encouragement in their lives. You keep on building without giving up. And I hope that in time you'll see all of that work come to have some fruit. I hope you guys are blessed by this. One thing to say, let's continue to build like Nehemiah. Until I see you guys next week, I hope you're being blessed by these messages. I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Hi and welcome to Kids Church. We're about to do a craft.
Yay! This looks quite tricky.
Yeah.
So, you're going to need one of these templates, and if you're joining us in person in Kids Church, you'll get one from your small group leader, and if you're online, you can download the template, and when you print it, you've got to print it both sides.
Yeah.
On the one side, we've got the memory verse that we've been learning from 1 Peter 2 verse 5.
That's
and
so
on
cool.
the other side is a shape. I wonder if you guys can guess what we're going to make.
I love making shapes.
I also like making shapes.
This is a 3D object, and this one, your first step, we've got to cut.
Okay.
Then we're going to color, we're going to fold, and we're going to stick. But when you cut, you've got to be really careful to only cut on the outline, and then these are fold lines. So let's start with that. We're going to cut first.
Thank you.
Awesome. Let's do it.
I'm finding this really tricky. Are your fingers getting a bit sore?
A little bit. But don't give up though, because you're almost there.
And that's what we've been learning, is that you've got to keep going,
Exactly.
even when it gets difficult. I'm finding these little corners quite tricky, and you've got to be really careful that you don't accidentally cut off something that you shouldn't cut off.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And if you make a mistake, don't give up. Get another one and try again.
That's true.
And if you're struggling, you can always ask someone to help you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what friends are for.
That's what Nehemiah did too. They had a really big project to rebuild the whole wall. And do you remember what they did? They each divided it up into sections because it was
Yes.
a big project.
Yeah.
And then everybody did their part. I think we can actually use these to build something bigger.
I like that idea.
Yes. That sounds like fun.
That does sound like fun.
Okay, so step 1, cut. Step 2, color. And what we're going to do is we're going to color on the side where the words are, and we're going to make sure that we don't go into the different blocks. So maybe we should fold before we color, right? Show us how to fold with the ruler.
Okay. So what you do, you take your ruler and you put it right on the line that you want to fold, and you just bend it up softly like this. Bend it over just a little bit. And there you go, there's your bend. So you just do that with every fold, with every line.
Aha, and then you can see where to color and where the lines are, even though they're on the other
smart.
side. I'm going to try that too.
This one.
Ooh, this ruler actually has a verse on it. And Philippians 4 verse 13 actually says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So that's why we can't actually give up, because Jesus gives us strength.
And I'm going to give you this ruler so you can try.
Oh, these are gonna be good.
Right. Once you are ready, then you're going to put some glue on all of the little tag folds, and then we can put it together to make it into a block.
Like building blocks.
Yep. I think I've got it. glue on my fingers. Ta-da!
Nice.
Yay, that's awesome.
I think I also got it.
Oh, that looks awesome.
You guys are ahead of me. It's colouring mine in too much.
It's okay, Natasha. Keep going.
But now this glue doesn't want to stick, you guys.
Keep
Don't give up. Don't give up. Build without giving up. So, here's our memory verse. It's 1 Peter 2 verse 5. It says, you also, that's you and me, are like living stones.
Whoa.
Because we're alive, we're not bricks.
Yes.
We're like living stones. As we come to Christ, each of us are being built into a house for worship.
That is amazing.
And we need to remember that we need to come so that we can build that house for worship, and we need to bring our friends too.
That's true.
And you know, like Nehemiah and the people that worked with him, they built a wall around Jerusalem. So let's have a look if we can build with these. You did it! You built it without giving up. Well done.
Yay.
So have a look. We can build a wall too.
Oh, just make sure it sticks.
There you go.
Yay.
So you can see how high you can build a tower or a wall with your friends when you build without giving up.
Yeah.
And now, let's go look at some questions.
Yeah.